Hello, I'm back from the Bushcraft Show 2024 after having a smashing weekend. Met some fantastic people, had a really great time, did some camping for 2 nights as well, which was awesome. I've got lots of very important things to share with you. One of those things I need to share with you now. Hi, this is Everyday Prepper. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, one of those important things I was going to share with you was that if you ever go away for a weekend and you know it's going to be really sunny and your partner recommends that you take sun cream, please use it. I didn't. I left it in my bag. I knew it was there, but I kind of thought, oh, it's not really that sunny. It's kind of on and off. We had a lot of rain as well. But I got horrendously sunburnt on my face. My nose is just peeling off. I also picked up a bit of a cold as well. So excuse my voice. I think it was because I got a little bit cold in the tent on the first night. And again, another recommendation from my wife. She suggested I take a duvet, but I thought, I'm not taking a duvet to a preparedness weekend. I'll look an idiot. And who looks the idiot now? Eh? There you go. What I did do though, which is very interesting, is I had a sleeping bag and I had another sleeping bag over the top to act as like a cover. But in the night when I was cold, I got out one of my space blankets and wrapped that around the sleeping bag, and it got really cozy. So those things do actually work, especially in an emergency, which is what it was for me. Anyway, I met some lovely people. I met Anna from Anna's Food and Lifestyle and her partner Dan. Had a great time with them, and we also did a short chatting video about preparedness, which is on her channel. I'll put a link in the description. Also really pleased to meet Lee and his friend Lee from the Bug Out store, or the Bug Out shop. Really made me feel welcome, and they were great hosts as well. And then Tom from Prepared Pathfinder and his partner Joe, you know, even helped me put up my tent, and just so welcoming. It was absolutely fantastic. Also managed to catch up with Pete from Maverick Outdoors. Great guy. I had a really long chat with him. In fact, we just stood in the pouring rain for about an hour just talking stuff, and awesome. Probably why I got the cold. And I also met some of our subscribers, so that was really great to see you guys. Thanks for coming up and saying hello. Sorry I didn't get to meet everybody who was going to be at the show, who's trying to look for me. The preparedness section is going to be a lot easier to find next year. They're expanding it and they're going to make it a very specific preparedness section. We were kind of stuck in the middle of all the bushcraft stuff, so it might have been a little bit difficult to find. So apologies for that. So what info have I got for you? Well, I've been doing a bit of research over the weekend, and funny enough, I didn't check the news or anything at all for like 2 days. And then I went on the news, I think it was on Sunday, and I was like, God, I'd go away for 2 days and they've now done, we've got conscription, we've got, you know, all sorts of other stuff going on with all the conflicts around the world, and yeah, it's all kind of kicking off, isn't it? But some very interesting information I picked up, and then I did some further research, and what I wanted to do was just like show you all the, I've done research, I've checked out the facts of the situations and the facts of these info to verify them. So it's all factual stuff, and I put it together and present it to you and tell you what I think about the info and whether it's worth doing anything about. In this case, I think it possibly is. So I'll let you know what I'm doing, maybe give you some suggestions that you can take forward. But, you know, we don't do conspiracies on this channel, and, you know, there's plenty of them flying around. But, you know, as I said, I'll just put all the info out there and you can make your own decision, really. And, you know, it could be nothing. But it kind of looks like when you add it all up, it could look like some sort of big event is coming. So the first thing I heard, and I heard this at the show from a great guy that I was talking to, and he pointed out that Airbnb had recently changed their policy on their force majeure. So, you know, if something happens weather-wise unexpected, and you've got a booking and then they have to leave for whatever reason, then, you know, there's some certain policy around refunds. They've changed it. They called it, now they're calling it the Major Disruptive Events Policy. And it's with effect from the 6th of June this year. And the reason that's a bit of a strange kind of key date is, you know, I always thought that I always thought in my mind that the election was going to be around sort of the end of the year, and I just had a feeling that something was going to happen and the government would probably end up you know, postponing the election for like a year, like they did during the pandemic, right? I just had a feeling they might do something like that. Anyway, then they shocked me by bringing out the Prepare campaign, but on the same day, they also, as they did that, saying you've got to get 3 days of food and all this sort of thing, and it's the second time they've done it. So you have to kind of sit up and take notice that what do they know? Is there something coming? Then they announce the election, and as they did that, I thought they were actually going to announce that we were going to war. But they didn't. They announced the election, and that's on July the 4th. And I thought, oh, well, we haven't got a lot of time for them to come up with something that is going to need them to delay the election. So that may not be the case now. Things are changing all the time. But what was weird on this Airbnb thing, and I've checked this out, I've read through their whole policy and found this change specifically on their site. So I can verify that this is definitely something they have done. And their wording is, they're saying that cancellations due to foreseeable weather events, government travel restrictions, I suppose that means lockdowns, or large-scale utility outage. Now, it doesn't specifically mention war in there, but those are, pretty serious events. So why have they changed that now? Do they know something's coming? Do they know something that's happening that we don't? Don't know, could be nothing, but I'm just sharing the info. Also, in my research, I realised that there's about 38 million posts on this on TikTok, which I don't really use very much at all. So I'm behind the times on this, so you probably already know all about it. Another weird thing that I came across after I got home was that there was an interview recently, a podcast, which is on Spotify, so it's all verifiable, where Andrew Bridgen, now some of you may, it's probably about 50-50 really, because of the things that he says about a certain other subject, and I know that there's a very big split on that. I like Andrew Bridgen, I follow a lot of what he does. So he's done this podcast with Ahmed Malik, and he says that we're already at war with Russia. He said that we're already at war with Russia. We have NATO troops in Ukraine, and they haven't got the time to train the soldiers to use those weapons that the UK and the US have put in there, especially the long range ones. So it's actually NATO forces and UK forces that are firing those missiles, and potentially going to be firing them into Russia. And Russia, of course, have turned around and said, you don't want to be doing that. Otherwise we'll go nuclear, or we'll attack the UK. But what he said next was very, very interesting, and he said that Rishi wants out. Now, I remember seeing a news article a few days before I found out about this podcast. I'm not sure about the timings of the two, where Rishi is denying that he's going to bugger off to the States and run away to hide from the fallout after the election. And so, if any MP or any government official denies something, usually it's true. So that'll be interesting. But he said, yeah, Rishi wants out because he doesn't want to be a wartime PM, and we're already at war with Russia. They just haven't told us yet. His exact words he said. He also said they plan to tell us in July or August. So that'll be strange. What are you going to do? You're going to tell the UK population, oh, we're at war with Russia. What's Russia then going to do? Go, oh, hang on a minute. Where's the declaration? Because usually when there's an official war, you have a declaration. So are they going to declare war very soon? I wonder. So what I also noticed, and you've probably noticed this as well, is there's so much talk of escalating kind of rhetoric. So you've got more talk about nukes, more talk about World War III. It's bandied around like it's nothing. And we know the media are controlled by certain other powers that be. They don't always have full control over their own publications. So it's almost like they're softening the blow. So if it's getting us used to war. Oh, it won't be so bad. Don't worry about it. Just prepare 3 days food. You'll be fine. Well, no, if there's a World War, and if there's a World War III and a massive conflict against Russia, you won't be fine with 3 days food. I've been trying to look into exactly what might happen during a war footing, and a lot of it comes from World War II. There's going to be rationing, so you'll also see supermarket shelves go completely empty, especially of the essentials. So when it says 3 days worth of food, have some torches, have some batteries, that kind of stuff. I would get wind-up torches, get solar power torches, get some kind of solar power as well, because they could well restrict You know, there's always been this talk about don't get a smart meter, they're going to restrict your electric. Well, I got a smart meter because I find them really useful. They tell me exactly what I'm using, and it helps me budget. However, if they are right, during a war fitting, they might need to conserve power to help with the military machine, and they may well, this is just a thought I had, they may well restrict use of electricity, and they may force it if they have to. So again, having an alternate source of power, you know, which I do, I have a big solar setup that can run a lot of items in the house, might be useful. You know, again, if you're storing food, make sure you're also storing water. Make sure you're also storing meds. And I would suggest, again, you know, more than 3 days, definitely. So, you know, start with your paracetamol, your ibuprofen. Make sure you've got any prescription meds all up to date, and you've got you know, a good stock of them. I don't know how much in advance you can get those kind of things. Antibiotics, again, are a little bit difficult, but if you go online, and there are certain doctors that will agree batches of antibiotics online if you're going for a long trip, for instance, a sailing trip. So, you know, do your own research, have a look at that. You can find it. I got approved and was able to be in a position to be able to order some antibiotics. So, you know, quite a lot as well. They're not cheap, but could be worthwhile. So there could also be lockdowns. Unlikely there'll be martial law, but again, it depends how the people react. And you know, maybe that's why they're trying to soften the blow. Maybe they're trying to make it normalise it on the media, and make you think that, you know, this is perfectly normal. And it won't be so bad because it's kind of over there, it's not here. But you know, Putin's made it quite clear that he would attack the country. So, you know, if things do escalate as well and go nuclear, you know, that's the subject of a different video. I'm currently putting together some details about what that might look like, and what you know, if we do survive it, what we might be able to do, and where you might want to be, and how you might want to reduce any of those effects. So, you know, I just want to reiterate, I don't want to do fear-mongering. That's not what I'm about at all. I've just seen just various things, literally as I've come back from this weekend, that have built up over time. And it could just be that I've added it all up and, you know, added 2 and 2 and ended up with 5 and come to a conclusion. Or it could just be that all of this is not related at all, and nothing to worry about. But, you know, I'm a prepper. I prep for all types of things, nothing really specific. I just do the basics, and I just add to them and add to them and add to them, and then gradually, if you just do that, you will build up a fairly big reserve of everything that you need to live your day-to-day life if there is some major disruption. And war, to me, is a pretty major disruption, I would have thought. Also, I had, it's just one thought, I had a quick look at Sky News last night. I've had to add this into the video. They decided they were reporting on major escalation. There was a big analysis about the war in the Ukraine. And then literally an hour later they said, we're now not going to do any more live coverage of this conflict. We're not going to do any more live coverage of this conflict. And so I've just checked today, and normally when you go onto Sky News, they have a tab and they've got, you know, home, UK, world, Israel, Hamas, etc., and business, sci-tech, and then usually there's a Ukraine, but they've taken it off completely. And I don't know why that is. That's very odd. So there's obviously something else going on there that they don't want to report, maybe. I don't know. So back to the video. Cheers. So that's all from me at the moment. I'd appreciate if you would let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. I'd like to get your opinion on this so we can discuss it, as we always do. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and stay prepared.